Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, it's a big occasion, and I think I'll take advantage of acknowledging my mother, who brought us up in difficult circumstances, and good on you, Overs. The rest of my family, Tanya, my sister, Lisa, my son Arthur, Gracie at the back, Becca and Jack, and and my mates over here, Charlie, Brownie and Butch. I'd like to acknowledge the Aboriginal peoples of Tasmania, and particular relevance to the 12 tribes of the northwest that are no longer with us, and their meeting place, which was Robbins Island. I'd like to also mention our forefathers, people like my grandfather that lied about his age to fight in the First World War. He went under the assumed name of Gordon Matthias Taylor at 14 and, lived through 2 world wars, a pandemic and a depression and raised 11 children. And people like him is what made us what we are today and the freedoms that we now cherish. I'd also like to recognise the multitude of different nationalities that now make up Tasmania and contribute to society and add that diversity which we are now. My extended family and relatives, I'm tied in with the Burgess family. The family tree book is about that thick. And in the first election I did, I got 2,200 votes, and I think most of them were for family and relatives. I'd like to mention my election crew that stood by me. I did 5 elections in 4 years, lost 8 kilos and had to have a year off the next year because it just sapped me. But Norm van der Veen, wealth of information. There isn't an industry on the northwest coast that he has not had a hand in. Digger Cox, Cody Hutchison, my electoral officer, who helped me no end, would not take any money and ran for the Legislative Council, and now he gets to experience what it's like in this environment, and I think that's super important. Anyone that's young and wants to be involved in politics, give them every opportunity. Now, to my story. I was born in Wynyard on the 9th of the 7th, 1964. I share the same birth date with both grandfathers, Grandfather Garland and Grandfather Chris, both born on that day. I never met my grandfather Garland. He died when he was 60. I think it was as a result of war injuries and what have you. But I do remember my mother's father, Arthur. He was a wonderful man and one of the most gentle human beings that I've ever known. So born in Wynyard, I was fascinated by fish and fishing. That's all I ever did. We used to live just outside of town, and then we moved down to the main street, just along from the library and the Wynyard Wharf, and that's where I spent all my time. I remember David Scholes' books on trout fishing and Neil Robson. I think if you looked at the record of how many times they were taken out, I would have been on there 100 times. So I've always had a fascination with fishing. My early school days, I started high school, and the first day at high school in grade 7, I was walking in the gate and a grade 9 fella came up to me and he said he was going to put my head down the toilet. And we had a bit of a box on, and before the siren had even gone for the first day, I was sitting in the principal's office. Gerald Cross, I'll never forget that man. He walked in like a shark, circled me, kept looking at me, and I was looking at him, and I think he was intrigued to see what he had on his hands. I think the fella I took on was a bit of a bully, and my first day there I had to tackle him. I left early to join the Navy, and that was at the bequest of Gerald Cross. He could see that I needed a bit of discipline, and my parents agreed, and so I left off to join the Navy. I was a junior recruit. One thing that it taught me there was to get on with people from all backgrounds. We didn't necessarily agree on certain situations, and I find it uncanny that I'm in that situation again, surrounded by people with a diverse view on how things should be managed. After 15 months in the Navy, because I was quite young, I realised that I didn't want to have any active part in engagement or hurting anybody, and I made friends with the petty officer, and he convinced me that it wasn't the place for me, so I left, and much against my parents' best wishes, I came home, and I didn't know what lied before me, but luckily for me I got a job on the waterfront, straight away. My first job was consigning the ship's manifest. So it was a handwritten manifest that had to be rolled off on a metho printer and run down to the ship to give them their copies before they went. And that job was really interesting because at the time we had 30 or 40 sawmills that were bringing bolster packs in. APPM was going flat out. There was hundreds of containers of paper being shipped out, dioxide. And over a period of 9 years, I got to see everything that was being shipped out of Tassie and everything that was coming in. The relationships I forged within that game are quite considerable, and to this point now, I have the ability to ring up people that have got an extensive working life, and any information is available to me. But after 9 years of sitting in an office, it got too much for me, and I couldn't wait to get out and get on the ocean. Because of the fish species I was catching, there wasn't much money in it, so I had to value add, so I decided that I'd start my own shop. And my good mate Robbie, he was doing, where is he? We set up a fruit and veg business and a fish shop. And 4 or 5 years in there, I won a small business award. It was just an ABC rodeo award for best fish and chips in the state. And my turnover tripled in a matter of weeks. So then I was beholden to the shop and I couldn't go fishing, and after a while I thought I've got to get out of here. Then one thing happened. On Australia Day 1996, a mate borrowed my boat and they capsized. They were luckily not to die. I thought, how could you capsize my boat? I didn't think it was capsizable. I borrowed a dinghy and fished for a week and caught enough fish to cover the cost of replacing that boat, and had it back 2 weeks after it was fixed, and guess what I did? I capsized the boat. And I laughed as I was walking up the shore. I thought, the futility. I'd known for quite a while that I should have moved on and I should have been, but I stuck to it, and then I got the big kick in the arse and the boat's over. And after that I swapped my business for a shack at Rocky Cape. Prior to that I saw a movie, When the Whales Came. It was about a man and his partner and 3 children. And they lived in the Orkney Islands, and basically all he did was row around, catch fish, had a garden and spent time with his kids, and I thought that's life for me. So I took the first step, got that shack, and I was waiting for my lady love to appear, but that never happened. And after a while I thought I've got to get out of here, sold my shack, and I was sitting there one day. I'd had hard times. I had the power cut off, I broke my leg playing football, I had a plate and 6 screws put in. I got a handful of change from the footy club. My power was cut off, and I was looking to lose the lease on my shack. But then again, a fortunate thing happened. A fella from Sydney came along and he gave me $200,000 for that shack. It only had one window that wasn't broken. Everything else was sold or in Saverbuck, and that got me back on the road to... I had 5 or 6 years wandering around, basically walkabout I'd call it, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So then I pulled myself out of that and started working hard and had quite a bit of money in the bank. And then one day I was sitting there, I thought, what do I want to do? I didn't want to travel, I didn't want to buy anything else. I'd had everything I could possibly want. I'd had some good relationships, but I just decided that I wasn't able to co-inhabit any place with a member of the opposite sex. And it really concerned me because I thought, what do I want to do? I had nothing driving me. And then I met Beck. And in a short time we had 3 kids, a couple of mortgages, 5 elections. And she never saw that coming. I never saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. And I'm here today. My fishery has been a number of things that have happened to that which ultimately made me go to politics. One day I was driving along, I was very depressed, and I passed a seal relocator, and I chased him and caught up with him at the traffic lights. I had $2,000 in my pocket. I thought I'm going to try and convince him to stay at home, stop dumping these seals on us, but it didn't go well. It nearly got violent. I started crying afterwards. I rang my industry rep, I told him what had happened, and then the seal relocations were stopped. Then the fishery that I relied on, I thought I had everything. I had a beautiful family, had a great fishery, and then over a period of years, that was to the point now it was shut for 3 months. So I'm an issues-based politician. I never thought I'd be doing this, but I'm so grateful that everyone in this state, if they have an issue and they're not getting satisfaction, and if they want it resolved, this is the ultimate. This is where you can get it done. And I'm so privileged and fortunate that we have this system whereby you can take advantage of this. Geez, I don't know what else to say. What I would like to say, everyone I've met in here, you sit on the outside and you hear and everyone's going, oh, that bugger or this bugger. And but what I've realised since I've come in here, we're just all normal people with a range of backgrounds and a range of views. And right now, this state is looking for leadership. They are looking for a parliament that can take everyone along together. And my role in all that, in some way, some small part, is contributing to the greater good. I think I'll leave it at that. I haven't taken that long, so we'll get to go home a bit earlier tonight. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Abetz too. Much maligned character. Listening to his speech the other day when everyone was giving him the #1 vote. I haven't had that, so maybe next time round I will be afforded that as well.
Feel free to make comment on any member.
Good on and good luck, and let's try and make it work for the best interests of everyone.
Yeah. That was... We'll just pause a little while Mr. Garland is appropriately congratulated by his new colleagues, including the much maligned ones.